All right. So, Cotton, we were just downstairs with Becker and Greg Ortiz and Stephen Floyd, Wyatt, and you were giving a speech of a very small, intimate group of mostly Top Guns. Kurt Angle was there, and you were talking about your velvet ropes method.
Hmm.
Very powerful because it's not that you're walking in and you have this bag of tricks and you do the trick and then you get a bunch of money.
Hmm.
There's You do have a solid foundation of tools that you're using, but really you're the way you see this, the velvet ropes method, it's the foundation. Just like when you build a house, you build a foundation underneath it.
Right, right. The whole thing about the velvet ropes is it's a process to take clients from the very beginning through the very end to when you let them go months and months and months later, and how to treat them, how to give them the best possible experience, and by taking control of it in a very professional way. Not controlling the client, but guiding them along, much as if you're at a theater or if you're in an amusement park and you see velvet rope set aside, it's there for a reason. It's to guide you along to give you the best possible experience that you can have. And that's what I've designed. And anytime that they get outside of this, you gently bring them back in and you give them the best experience that they can. And sometimes they don't know exactly what they need. And this is designed to help you and to help them. And they really don't know what's going on, but they appreciate it at the end of the process.
It's very different. It's funny. I was talking to David about we both have Bentleys, and there's that Rolls Royce Bentley Maserati dealership in Franklin,
Hmm.
and it's funny because I realized when David and I were talking, I had driven past that place because it's right next to where the Nissan dealership is.
Hmm.
I must have driven by that place a dozen times, and I
Hmm.
never once saw myself as a Bentley driver.
Right.
And so I didn't even really think about it. And I was, as you're just talking right now, I was thinking about the experience of buying a car because if you're there's two different experiences of buying a car. Like let's say you're just going to buy a Honda,
Hmm.
like a used Honda or something like that. It's economical. It's you want it to be a little bit nice, but ultimately it's to get you from point A to point B.
Right.
And I think people already know in their head what that looks like.
Hmm.
Whereas when I was going to buy a Bentley, I had no idea what it looked like. And they did give me the red carpet treatment, the velvet ropes
Hmm.
treatment, and it felt great.
Hmm.
Um, you know, I don't go to too many parties. Probably most people don't go to that many parties.
Hmm.
You go to a party with a nice VIP section,
Hmm.
and they have those velvet ropes. Maybe you're going to a premiere of a movie and you got a special invitation or something like that. You
Hmm.
don't know what that's like, where you're supposed to go, what you're supposed to do. It feels disorienting. And when someone guides you through that, I guess maybe that's what SEO is like for so many business owners. They don't know what it is, what search engine marketing is about.
Right. I just think that so many professionals and the people that are at the top of their game actually use this method without even realizing that they're doing it. If you're to travel to some of the top restaurants in Paris, generally what you do is you sit down and the waiter is so well versed in everything that he asks questions, find out what your taste palettes are. He finds out everything and he recommends everything based upon what he feels is best suited for you because you're not familiar with the restaurant and the food. He wants to give you the best possible experience. And 9 times out of 10, these are what some of the best restaurants are in the world. They guide you along and suggest and take you through this whole process. And much a doctor does the same way. He has to gather his information and they guide you along to give you the best possible medical care. Search engine optimization is no different. People don't understand it. They are scared of it. They just don't understand what it can do for them. And when you guide them along and tell them what to expect every step of the way, along with educating them along the step of the way, it makes the experience so much better for them instead of letting them run blind without knowing what to expect. So that's kind of what it is. It's even caring about your clients even more than the other people are because you're really designed this to give the best possible
Because
experience.
it really is, I noticed that during your speech, I'm more tuned to pick up on this. The word caring really comes up
Hmm.
in what you're saying. Like you really care. Like when you say caring, like what pictures or like what mental movies coming up in your mind?
Well, I want them to be happy with what I'm doing for them. I've always loved to help people, and I like to know that what I'm doing is helping their business. If I'm not helping their business, Why am I doing this? I mean, I can make money at other things. It's good to know that you're keeping a business alive, that you're helping, put kids through school. You know that you're making a little less stress in their life. So what this is designed to do is even more streamline this and keep a more controlled environment for them, to keep them stress-free through the whole experience of working for me and my agency, and giving the best possible outcome. So
so they're working for you.
I honestly believe that at the end of the process, what should happen is they are working for me, and they're working for me by, they're so excited about what I've done for them that they're referring people to me. So my main goal is to, when I bring on a client, is to turn them into a employee of me that is bringing in people because they're so happy with the experience that they've had. Much as I gave the illustration of the restaurant, if you had a waiter that come in and just suggested things that you never thought you would eat, and it was a great experience.
Yeah.
Had a wine to match the meal, and just
every step of the way,
right.
Like the appetizer is just perfect, melted in your mouth.
Right. You're going to go out and you're going to tell that story to 50 other people. You're going to go, man, you've got to go see this waiter in this restaurant and let him do this to you.
Yeah.
The whole experience is amazing. So that's what the Velvet Rope experience is all about. Is just making sure that they stay inside a certain area, and it's like guiding them back inside where they need to be.
I hear you saying that a lot. The guiding them back inside. What are some missteps that you run into, just so someone watching this can visualize?
I think the missteps is that we all know. If you're just starting out with search engine optimization, then you don't know. But you should know that questions are going to come up. How long is this going to take? How long am I going to be paying you? Why did my website drop? These are questions that you should already have addressed. Once you've received payment and once you've started as a client for them, you should already address these. So when they come up, then it's really, you don't even have to address it. They already know, they're already educated. So I like to educate my clients very well for any problems that come up. It also takes stress off me. If you want to run a high volume agency, and if you can take care of problems and answers before they're ever asked, that's a successful agency, because now you can concentrate on bringing in more clients or testing other SEO or just other stuff. So I like to think of every possible outcome that could happen, already film a video that has a complete answer for it. They can educate them and drip those videos out over the course of time, which educates them, it guides them along, and it gets them feeling like a sense of security. Much as, when I was going through Fletch and Greg's office hours in OMG, all these questions that you get that people ask, you don't know that you need them. But thank God these people ask these questions.
Yeah.
Because when they happen, you're like, oh, I now remember that question from 3 weeks ago. That's what Fletch said. I've got the answer. And it's the same way with a business owner. When they go, oh my God, my site dropped. Oh, now I remember Cotton sent that video and I watched it.
It's almost comforting. Like suddenly a site drop becomes like a source of comfort, which is crazy.
Exactly.
So you've really created like a whole feeling, a whole experience for people. We really tried to do this at OMG Live Nashville for folks, where it was just very clear what was going to happen, what the event was going to feel like in the marketing beforehand. We try to do this inside of OMG. Everybody knows we're greedy for earnings reports.
Sure.
You and I were just taking a walk with Stephen Floyd, and I just got a phone call from a guy who was just excited. He's now making $4,000 a month, and he's fired up. This is sort of something that's like we've directed into this. You mentioned during your speech that you want to be like Steven Spielberg or something like that, a director.
Right. What I'm saying is respected people, and it goes a little bit beside the velvet ropes of why the discovery form is so important and everything. You have to put yourself in a position of an expert in importance, and these people are important people. And you just can't get access to Steven Spielberg. You can't get access to the mayor of New York City. You're not going to be able to get the access to the #1 defense attorney in the city, or even the district attorney. These are people that you have to schedule appointments for. And when you put yourself up in a position through your rankings and through what you've done, especially with the discovery forum, to set yourself up to be an expert, then that transitions over to the client. Because it gives them comfort, believe it or not, knowing that they're working with an expert. The whole breakdown of SEO is the meeting is about this. They're quizzing to find out if you're good enough to do the work for them. That's what it all comes down to. So if you have the rankings and you have the discovery form which pre-qualifies them, then they are applying to work for you. That means they really want to work for you. And when someone's taking the time out to apply to work for you, that means that you can either choose to work for them or not work for them. That puts the decision in your hands instead of theirs. And it takes away from the client the illusion of power that they have, which is the power of choice. Everyone believes that when they get into a sale, that they have the power of choice. I can choose to buy or not to buy. And once they even have an inkling or even are interested in getting a price, once we put them through our velvet rope with the discovery application, that all changes. Now it's almost like they're in a wonderful amusement ride, and there's no way to
there's
come
that
back
feeling when you get into like a really nice, like a Disney ride or
Right.
something like that. You go in and you sit down and it like locks you in.
Right.
They tell you what's going to happen.
Right.
They like take your hat off.
Sure.
And, like all that kind of stuff.
And even if you're in the line, you turn around and you look, and there's people in back of you. You just can't get out.
Yeah.
So it's like once they're in the process, they're in the process. So I like to feel that the discovery form is so powerful that once they fill it out, they've committed to your journey.
Yeah.
And they've stepped inside your velvet ropes, and it's your job to guide them along. And remember, they can stay at the beginning and go nowhere through this journey, or you can lead them all the way through. So I feel that it's very important and very powerful for you to take them on that journey. And once they get through it, they're going to be happy. They're going to be excited to refer people over to you, which essentially makes them become your employee. And that's what it is. Every time I get one client in, I look at it as, wow, I just increased my business over the next 6 months if I do everything right by about 8 to 9 clients. Every one client is worth 8 or 9 clients to me over the course of 6 months if I bring them through the velvet ropes properly. So I get excited about that. So everyone in OMG is literally, if you follow the process that I'm going to go into in depth with, even greater depth than a lot of modules, is that we're going to be able to get one client and how you can absolutely just make sure that at the end of 6 months that turns into 8 or 9 clients. And that's what's great about the whole velvet rope theory.
Awesome. Let's get this saved and we'll move on. All right, Cotton, let's talk about the discovery form and how you put it together and the actual psychology behind it. So this is the discovery application. It says, our search engine optimization is not for all businesses. That's the first thing you're saying.
Right. What it basically is that it takes away the illusion that any buyer has that they have the power of choice. And what happens is in a general sales exchange, the buyer believes that they have the power over you, and you have to do a dance for them, you have to impress them, you have to do all these particular things to earn their business. What the discovery form is kind of turns that upside down, and it gives the control back to you. So as you would be as I said, any top physician, brain surgeon, or anyone that's at the top of their field, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to pick and choose who the best people and candidates are that you can work for that meet the criteria of your business. This is what the top tier and the top people in their profession do. They pick and choose who they're going to work with. As we just mentioned, Steven Spielberg, he works with the actors that he wants to work with. As any brain surgeon at the top of his field, he takes the most difficult cases or decides he's going to do a pro bono case or whatever. This is what this sets us up to do, is it sets us up to be an expert in our field and give a set of rules and kind of like a business kind of oath of what we want to work with. So it lists, that we don't want to do any get rich quick schemes, any adult themed material, any startups, or anything like that. And we also want to work with people that are in respectable businesses because we want to put out good vibes and good feelings to the world. We don't want to work with any shady businesses or people that have 100 bad reviews or anything like that. So what it does is it lets a business owner kind of go, wow, I have to apply to work for this guy. I might not get in. It's almost like a university that you have to apply to get into, Stanford, Yale, or any other place. Any prestigious place you must apply to get into. And so I think the discovery form is powerful because it makes people apply to work for you. And once they do that, the whole mentality changes. Now it's like, well, what if he doesn't think I'm good enough? Or what if he can't help me? Or what if this? Now it turns them on their insecurity because no one likes to get turned down. I don't care who it is. So it turns that illusion of choice into now I really want to get through this and have them accept me.
One of the things I was thinking about is if a client is going to turn into 8 to 9 clients,
Right.
you got to be starting with the right client.
Exactly.
With OMG, we try to let people know before they join, like we're not looking for people that are just wildly running around looking for the button that they push to become a millionaire. It's just, we were talking about that at dinner with Becker. There's a certain mentality in other programs where people are like looking to be kind of more passive, and it's just kind of understood in OMG. You're going to come in and you're going to work your butt off, and you're going to get a chance to make a lot of money.
Right.
And in the same way, you're kind of filtering for those kind of people.
Right. I mean, obviously, not every relationship is meant to happen. I mean, whether you look at business relationship or personal relationships, I mean, you can't take it personally. I mean, we're not meant to be with everybody, such as every business relationship. So there's going to be some, and it doesn't matter how high the money is. I've had, companies like Lyft, who is owned by Alibaba, contact me and wanted to do some crazy stuff. Hey, here's $5,000. We want to be ranked number 1 for Chicago taxi in 60 days. It doesn't make any sense. And they were insistent upon that. And they go, well, we're going to keep looking for someone that'll agree that they can do this for us. And so obviously it was clear that wasn't a good business fit.
Yeah.
It's not, I don't care about the money, the prestige, anything. You can't have someone like that inside your business because they're just going to turn it into a business.
You're going to be, it's like being in a bad relationship. You're just locked into a room. If you think about, if you imagine a teacher that you had in school that you really particularly disliked, if you're like locked in a closet with that person, they doubt you and dislike you. I had this biology teacher in like 9th or 10th grade or something like that. And she was just such a biatch. I mean, she just was, I just couldn't stand her. And she was just judgmental and she was mean. And if I just imagine, if I put myself in a state where I'm locked in a room with that person, I'm not going to be productive.
Right.
Whereas if I think about like one of the things, we're in Tampa right now as we record this. I mean, I'm on 5 hours of sleep, which for me, that's very little. I'm a very creative person, so I really try to get 8 hours of sleep. But I mean, I couldn't have gotten out of bed fast enough. I was just excited to come out and hang out with you. And we have some other friends here, Becker and Stephen Floyd and Gregor Ortiz, and we ran into Kurt here and so forth. Pip Patton's here. So that that energy just pulls me up.
Sure.
And I think you want that out of your clients.
Absolutely. Choosing the right client to work for you. Remember, not only are you having someone that you're going to be doing search engine optimization for, but you're going to have someone that you want to have a long-lasting relationship with so that they can send you business. It's so much easier when you have a client that's working for you than it is one that doesn't like you and you don't get anything from.
Yeah.
So wouldn't it be wonderful to just go out and get 5 clients, treat them right, turn those 5 clients into 40 clients, and then just keep spiraling?
No, this is fundamentally how David Mills designed OMG. Like we were like, well, we're either going to get earnings reports or we're going to go and do something different.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Just absolutely. Let's keep reading on. We would love to help everybody who's requested our expertise. As the word is out that we've assisted hundreds of, this is so well written, by the way, Cotton. Did you write it yourself?
Yes.
Okay. The word is out after we've assisted hundreds of businesses achieve high levels of success. We select the clients we work with very carefully, and we have a reasonable set of criteria that needs to be met in order for us to proceed. We only work with a limited amount of clients at any given time to ensure maximum attention to detail and your company's ultimate success. Could you please talk about that paragraph?
Yeah, what it's basically saying is we can only, or I can only work with a limited number of clients every month, and I'm always at capacity. And so I've got to pick and choose wisely who is going to be the best candidates for me to work with. I'm not looking for anything difficult. I'm not looking for people that have unrealistic goals. And if you want inside our circle, you're going to have to meet our criteria to do it.
But you don't sound, you don't come off, you come off strong, but not like a bore. Like I really like this statement here. We have a reasonable set of criteria that needs to be met. Right? Like you come out and say like it's reasonable.
Right.
You're not saying we are the grand SEO masters of the universe, and if you don't bow down and recognize that.
What it's like saying is I don't want to work with startups. They just always expect too much. When you have a business,
it's always a wing and a prayer, and they're hoping that you're going to make their business happen. I can't stand it either. I won't work.
Yeah. they're in a tight budget, and they want miracles to happen,
Oh yeah.
and I just don't like it. And by
I
like
didn't even like talking to them.
yeah,
Yeah.
by like choice, I don't like working in adult themed material. Just it would embarrass my parents and whatever. There's a lot of money in that, and if that's for you, that's fine also. And then get rich quick schemes. I'm not I'm not trying to take advantage of people either.
Sure.
Ranking things that just ultimately taking advantage of people. So what it's basically setting up and telling people is I'm a very moral and ethically bound company, and I want to work with like-minded people.
Yeah, because you're very clear right away. Like so you say we want to work with clients who have an active and healthy business already.
Mm-hmm.
This is important because if you have a business, if they're struggling,
Right.
they're going to struggle to pull out their checkbook and write a paycheck. They
Right.
probably don't have friends that are successful.
Right. What it all comes down to is we want someone that just needs a little bit of push. What I don't want to do is just come in and rewrite their sales scripts, do their offline, sales strategy, how they're answering phones and treating clients.
That's true. If
on my
it's not a
site.
good business in the first place, if you
Right.
get them traffic, they're not going to get that many more customers.
Right. So it has to be a whole process. Now I do off-site consulting for some people, but not often, and it's very expensive. I mean, obviously, if I'm going to be there every day or live a day, I generally charge $5,000 a day.
Yeah.
Just to be there. So it's easier. My goal is to work from home. That's what I wanted to do, and
Yeah.
do the search engine optimization from there and make them successful. So I'm looking for active and healthy businesses that also have a good reputation.
Yeah, you're very clear. Like our services are for companies that are set up and running already and simply want to move a lot faster and a lot further.
Mm-hmm.
And then you say, of course, who you don't work with.
Right.
So you're very, very clear that you want an established
Mm-hmm.
business there. A steady flow of, all right, so number 2, so we want to work with clients who have, so you already want people that have a steady flow of leads and
Mm-hmm.
customers. That means that you're getting consistent traffic and making sales already.
Mm-hmm.
You're running ads and you're promoting and you're selling your services. You don't have to be a household name, but you need to be present in your market.
Right. What it basically is pre-qualifying people to let them know that if you're not already spending advertising dollars, we're pretty expensive.
Yeah.
And
this is kind of like letting them also check off the box and be proud of their success.
Sure. Right. And we want companies to say, well, man, I fit that easy. If you've never spent advertising dollars, it's very difficult to get someone to think about spending money on SEO, because if you take a small business, let's say a baker, and you go in there,
oh God,
he might have a home that his mortgage is $2,000 a month. And I'm now and his lease on this place might be $800. I'm now going to charge him. My personal minimum is $4,000 a month.
Yeah.
So now I'm going to tell him that I've got to charge him more than his mortgage and his lease to do that, and they don't understand advertising.
Yeah.
Businesses that are successful and are up and running and moving quickly and want to move faster, that's what we want to work with, because what they're wanting to do is we're not wanting to have someone that just started. We want to take someone that's kind of in between, that just needs our help to just accelerate their growth. We don't want to make our job too hard. And what I don't want to do is come in and be their everything, or them expect me to be their savior. I just want to, to come in and twist the dial in a few places and get them ranked there, and they've already got the necessary pieces to be successful in place off-site at their business.
There's a distinction that David has, and you brought this up. We were the first time you went to one of Becker's events. There was a guy. I'm not going to humiliate him by bringing up his name,
Mm-hmm.
but he was coming out with a YouTube launch,
Mm-hmm.
and he came to you, and it was days before his launch, and he was trying to get secret sauce from you on how to rank on YouTube, and you're thinking to yourself, aren't you a YouTube guru? Aren't you about to put out a launch about this? I mean, this is kind of weird. I know from behind the scenes that guy's not very successful, and the thing is, one of the things that David points out is that people who aren't successful, they're not successful for a reason. Mm-hmm. Their methodology is not making them successful. Now, they can change that. You can change your stars.
Sure.
But you got to change them.
Right.
It's not because you got unlucky. Mm-hmm. All right. And by the way, part of an unsuccessful methodology is telling yourself you're not successful because you're getting unlucky.
Right.
You're saying, I'm looking for people that are going to imply to me that they are in that moderate level of success.
Exactly.
Now, we had, this is kind of funny, speaking of success. So a little earlier, actually, as we were pulling into the hotel, there was what was it, McLaren?
Yes.
There's a McLaren out front, and oops, sorry, things went a little haywire there. Let me pull this up again. So this is the McLaren. I want to share it with everybody. And you talked about this, I think, a little bit during the speech. Hopefully that's coming up well. Beautiful car, by the way. And it was crazy because we were on a webinar not just the other day, and you were talking about another guy who we weren't on. I was enjoying one of your simulation webinars.
Right.
You're on there with Armando. That was really cool. By the way, it's wonderful for me. I was talking to Greg about it the other day because he was watching the replay of that simulation webinar, and so now it's like me and Greg get to be on the other side of the we got our popcorn out, and we're like, oh my god, this is great.
That's funny.
But it was cool because I really just so you know, that's a neat moment in time for me because I got to kind of like step on the other side of the curtain because I literally felt like I was on that webinar with you, but I wasn't.
Right.
Which is really cool. Anyways, you said during that webinar that you struck up a conversation with the guy who had the Lamborghini. You said to the woman who was driving the Maserati the same exact thing. You're like, oh, what made you choose the Maserati over the Lamborghini?
Exactly.
And so forth. And she let you know, actually, where's her business card? I got to show this business card.
People are pretty passionate. Crazy. I mean, when you ask them why they chose one thing over another, what I've learned is that people are very proud of their cars when they spend
and watches too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Here, hopefully you guys can see this pretty well. That's her card. It's the craziest. I'll do it at a few different magnifications. This to me is the coolest business card I've ever seen in my life. Yeah. It looks like an American Express black card.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So, all right. So when you're talking to her, you just had so much confidence. And this woman, to give you guys an idea, has a $500 million business. Did she say $500 million per year?
She said $500 million for the year.
For the year.
Yeah.
Yeah, for the year business. But you're very confident, and you point out that you're going to give her a call and so forth. But the point is that somebody who's successful has a methodology, and again, like looking in that situation, she's proud of her success. And you're really going to like ride on the coattails of that.
Sure. I mean, someone that drives a car like that, I mean, let's face it, they don't work for anyone. I mean, they have their own business. And obviously, if you have that business, Google's everywhere. I mean, every business.
And it doesn't have to be a Maserati. It can even be somebody driving a Mercedes. They're probably proud of their Mercedes.
Absolutely.
Like, you can, one of the things you can do is learn the different Mercedes lines.
You know what? That is a perfect sales tactic you can do. You can just go up to anyone that has a car in excess over $50,000, and I guarantee that they're proud of it. And just go, I was looking at this car. What made you choose that over this? They'll be happy to give you their advice. There's one thing I've learned about people. They're very happy to tell you what they think.
Yeah.
And once you do, you can say, you know what, by the way, what type of business are you in?
Yeah.
And they can tell you instantly, if they go, oh, I'm a teacher or I'm a professor over here, then obviously that's not the right place to have the conversation about search engine optimization.
Sure.
But if the guy says, I'm a painter, I'd like to have a painting business, and I'm a freelancer, and I've got about 5 guys that work for me, and really, how would you like to get some more clients?
Yeah.
Boom. It's like, well, what do you mean? Well, I rate things on Google.
Yeah.
Conversation. They always hand me a business card, always. And if you're always,
and she did. This thing was in. She was stuffing this in my hand. I didn't even want one.
Yeah.
Until and then I had it in my hand. And I was like, wow, I do want it.
People don't get there's money falling out of people's pockets everywhere.
Yeah.
You just got to find it. I mean, if you're looking for it, they always say, if you look for trouble, you'll find it. Well, if you look hard enough for money, I promise you'll find it.
I love it. Point 3, a good solid product and a good reputation. Everything we do together will not only be bringing you more sales and profits, but we're going to be doing it in a way that creates massive goodwill in your market.
Yeah, I mean, it's just tying up what I said before. We want to work with people with good reputations at selling a good product, because what we want to do is we want to help them so they can help other people.
You also want somebody who's proud of it. I mean, you really will
run
into people that are not proud of what they're doing.
Right.
And you probably just don't want to work with them.
Right. Like a personal injury attorney, not only do I want to help them if they have a good reputation, but, if someone's been wronged in an accident, I want to be able to help them as well. So we want to keep the good feelings going through all the way through to the very beginning.
Very nice. All right, that's it. Those are our requirements. If you met the criteria above and would like to speak with us personally about getting you incredible results, then we will happily set aside some time for you. Here's how the process works. First, you need to fill out the discovery form below. Don't worry, it's simple and unobtrusive. We just need to know what you're selling, get an idea of what you'd like to accomplish, and so forth. We'll painstakingly review your goals and your offers and so forth, and we'll deliver a custom plan to grow your revenues based on the exact same process that's generating millions for our clients right now. your initial call will be between 45 and 60 minutes.
Mm-hmm. What that basically is just letting people know is that we've had success before, and it's just basically letting them know that this is important that they fill it out. We're not going to ask them for their wife's name or their kid's name or anything. Just simple business things that better help them fill out a business plan for them to get it lined up. If they want the best possible care, you don't go into a financial advisor and to just say, here's $1 million, invest it. You want to find out what he's doing, and you're going to want care.
And it's not even fun. One of the things to realize is it's fun for the business owner to invest in their advertising. It's fun for them. If you're going to invest in the stock market or whatever. So like the way you're doing it, like just like when you go to a fancy restaurant, it's fancy. It's going to be fun for you to do it. You're not like, let's get through this.
Sure. Right. And we generally want to help them. So I just think that it's a very important part of the process. So
very good. Okay. We're on part 3 of 3. Have you had any previous SEO on your site? If so, please check the investment level. So how much money?
Right. It's very important to know if they spend any money at all. So that's a question that's pretty important.
Okay.
Also, we want to know, to write any keywords that they want to do after. This is very important. I want to know what they think that they should rank for. I want to know what their process is and their level of knowledge, what they think their business is at. Not only that, but it's helped me in the process of they might have wanted to go something that I've never even thought of before. A plastic surgeon.
They might be very smart about it.
Right. Like
maybe there's some procedure.
I just want to go after rhinoplasty.
Yeah.
Like a plastic surgeon, or I just want to go after breastless, or I just want to go after mommy makeovers. So it's very important for them to tell you what they want to go after, because I want to sell them what they want, not what I think they want.
Yeah.
So, they have a good idea of what type of client that they're wanting to sell more of. So it's important. And also list a radius of specific cities you'd like to target. And if it's national, just type in the United States. That's very important also. I want to know what geographical regions they want to go for, because obviously if they want to go for more than one area, that means more traffic. That means we can charge them more because we're bringing in more clients for them. And also how many more additional customers they'd like to acquire over the course of the month. That's important also. That tells me.
Well, you can just quickly run that together with the lifetime value of their customer, and now you know how much money they're making per month.
Well, it's not only that. It's just if they're in, let's just say that they're in Houston, and they're a plastic surgeon. We can now attack the suburbs around Houston to get them a certain amount of people that we couldn't just with Houston.
Right.
So maybe they serve the suburbs of Houston. So now I can charge more money and start building pages for the suburbs so we can start to get them more clients. So however many more that there is very important. If they get, I really need 100 more clients. Well, that's an interesting question. How did you come up with 100? Why is 100 important to you?
Yeah.
Then you're going to get the whole backstory. Listen, if we don't have 100,
we're
going to go out of business.
Right.
Or if we have 100, I'm able to go on a vacation with my wife.
You learn about certain metrics as well that they're like, well, look, our office is built this way. Like,
sure.
I know when we were doing the infomercial stuff, just so much of it is about like the way infomercials are typically set up.
Right.
Actually, this is one of the amazing stories behind OMG. So the way that they're set up is they have call centers, like outbound call centers. So people will buy the book off of the TV show or whatever. And they'll want to keep a certain number of teams together. And if the volume falls too low, if they have too few leads, they'll start losing those guys because those guys are working on a commission.
Right.
And if the volume goes too high, they'll start wasting leads. And so they have to stay in a sweet spot. And it's tough because what can happen is the ad expenditure can get very high because you need to keep your team together. Like it's very expensive to acquire a lead. Too bad. Right. Because you need to keep your teams together. Now, interestingly enough, that's why we created OMG with no sales center whatsoever, even though it's coaching. People typically, to do coaching stuff, will have sales centers, and that's why David designed it not to have a sales center, because we had that insight into how businesses are built. But you learn these things about these businesses.
Sure.
You know, the dentist who's got like 5 receptionists and they can't bear to fire any of them. Right.
That exact number is very powerful because people that put down exact numbers like I need 87 more clients have a very specific goal in mind. And you can use that. You know, if it's like I really need 87 because it's going to pay for you, it's going to help my business, and I'm also trying to save up for my ring and the honeymoon for my wife to be. That can be used as a sales tool to close them. Remember,
And they want it to be.
right. I want to get you on that honeymoon.
Yeah.
So it adds another level.
And
of
how do they not
information.
want to hear that? Like
Right.
I mean, you're not the guy for them. If you don't want them to go on that
Right.
honeymoon, you're the wrong
Right.
guy or gal for them.
That's a question. When you see exact numbers, and I've never discussed this anywhere before, when you see exact numbers, you should be asking, why is 87 so important to you? Why is 22 so important to you? When it's exact numbers, like if it's around 100, they don't really know. But when they're giving exact numbers, I need 33 more clients. They have a specific reason behind that.
Yeah.
Find out what that is.
They've done some back of
Right.
the envelope math.
Right.
And that's very personal.
Sure. And when you pull out that personal story, it can also inspire you, but it can also be used. Listen, I want to be able to help you buy that other store.
Yeah.
You know that.
No, look, I just went nuts. I mean,
Yeah.
just in discussing that, I went nuts and started talking about the infomercial
Sure.
and the way we designed OMG.
Right.
Like that elicited my own story.
Exactly. And, the next question is this, are you doing any forms of marketing? It just, we want to know what they're doing. Search engine optimization, PPC, RTB, which is real-time bidding, which a lot of people in OMG don't know anything about. What RTB is, just in general, I'll just go over it very quickly, is it's you buy advertising in bulk at discount prices. In other words, you buy Google AdWords, Facebook advertising, you buy Bing advertising, you buy LinkedIn advertising, and you buy it in bulks starting at $25,000. And you can generally get it for pennies on the dollar. If you go out and do this is what GM, Fortune 500 companies do. My partnership with Ronell that I've done with him, we offer that to our clients, which is real-time bidding. I let Ronell handle that aspect of it, but it's very, very, very powerful. If you get very, very, very big companies that are Fortune 500 companies, they generally want to go in that direction and say, look, we want to spend $25,000 on Facebook advertising. You should not spend it on Facebook. You should go through real-time bidding because you're going to get $25,000 worth of Facebook advertising along with about $15,000 worth of Google AdWords by going through real-time bidding.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So it's a huge,
Yes.
huge difference.
Yes.
Okay, so most effective and least effective advertising method. Obviously, that hits upon their goals and their pain.
Right. We just want to know what they've had success with, and we want to hear it from them. And we also want to hear what their pain is. What's your pleasure? What's your pain? Well, I've been getting a lot of success from direct mail. Well, I've had no success from Google AdWords, or I've had no success from direct mailers. We want to know what they've worked with because it also it's a trick question also. If they said they've never done advertising before and they just told us that they did, well, then they have. They just didn't pay attention to the question. So I put questions in here to kind of slip in here to make sure that I get the right answers.
Sure. All right. Do you offer any special promotions to new customers? If so, what are they?
Right. Just anyone that offers any, cash back or, they offer coupon cards or anything, or punching cards for every $10 spent, you get this. We want to know if they're doing anything creative in the store. And if they're not, there's something that's pretty mind-blowing that I talked to you about maybe 6 or 7 months ago that I've never revealed to OMG that I'm saving, that is a way to where once you get a client, that if I show you how to work this particular system right with this promotion, it can pay for their SEO. And so that's why I asked that, because if they go, yes, we've used these particular things that you're talking about, then I know I can't use them. So it's almost a question for myself that I've kind of thrown in there. But it's also good to know if they're being creative.
Yeah.
And if they're going, well,
Yeah, like how into their own business they are.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Who's your competition? Obviously, this is great.
Sure. I'd want to know what their pain is. Obviously, there's a lot of people that say I don't have any competition, but when they put someone particular, I want to spend some time and look and see what they're doing. Where are they ranked at? Why do they consider them their competition?
Yeah.
What are they doing? Why do they think they're better than them, or why do they think they're close to them? When you look at someone as a competitor, you look at someone that's almost or better than you or a little bit under you. I don't look at someone that just starts SEO as my competitor.
No.
So this is
gives you a gauge a
right.
little bit where they are.
It's a pain point for them.
Yeah.
So we want to know that. Then the next is what budget range are you?
I love the way you phrase this question. Not just what's your where's it? Oh, budget range for, but how you put in for getting new customers, like you put the benefit in there.
Right. And that's important also.
Because if you think what's your budget, they think nothing.
It's another probing question, and it's also another test question. We've already asked what their advertising budget is, or how much money for each client cost to them is. Now we want to know what it's worth to them. If someone says, well, I like charge $1,000 for my services, well, what's it worth to you to get one in the door?
Yeah.
And if they go, man, it's worth $250, that's good information to have.
Yeah.
So,
what is your big? But because, by the way, one of the things you might find out, you're also teasing out more information because it might be. They might say, I can't go over 250
right,
because it turns out that I have XYZ cost,
sure,
or because summers are really slow for me.
Exactly.
Like you'll find out additional factors about
Right.
their business,
Right.
and then you can be sensitive to that.
Right. The most important question comes up next, and it's what helps you rebuttal them before you ever speak to them about giving you money. What's your biggest concern about doing business with a company?
What are some of the answers you've heard to this?
Oh my God, that I'm going to get nothing in return, or I've been ripped off before, or I've wasted money on this before and I've got no results.
How do you deal with that objection?
Oh, I love it. Look, that's like saying, look, you can come to the doctor's office and you can sit across and you can look at you and you can go, guess what's wrong?
Yeah.
And you can sit, your toe hurts? No. Your like neck hurts? No. Guess. No,
Right.
That's not cool.
Right.
But if he comes in and he goes, look, my hand hurts very badly, and here's what he's doing. He's going to look at training, he's going to do tests on your hand, do everything. I want to know what their biggest fear is. By them telling me their fear, I'm going to be able to take care of that in the conversation that I have with them immediately.
So if it's, I've been burned before,
right?
Then what are some of the things you might say?
Oh, well, have you ever investigated if they've ranked anywhere? One of the things that I teach in my video, if you go to cottongrabber.com, if you haven't watched the video, watch it. I give 5 key things to how to hire a search engine optimization expert. One of them is, have they ranked difficult keywords? Have you said, hey, show me something as a business owner, how I qualify myself and disqualify my competition is this. Have you investigated that they've ranked anywhere that's competitive?
Yeah.
And where are they?
Yeah.
And he goes, well, no, I never looked at it last time I did that. There
Yeah.
you go. Here, let me show you what I've done.
Right.
And I show him where I've been.
Right.
Or I'd show them, my testimonials page. Here's all the people and what they're saying about me. Did you have that with the last person?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
That's like why. So it's just bringing comfort. It's better to know what their fears are before than them never tell you and them just say no.
Yeah, then it's the silent killer.
Because what you're wanting to do is just get everything out on the table before you talk to them and before you make that video or proposal or however it is you want to do business. If you have all the information up front before you ever know anything, which is this, it's so easy to sell. Easy to sell.
Killer. So I did the recording with you at the event downstairs.
Right.
Becker had pulled me outside for a few minutes, so I missed the very first part of things. And you started telling me now.
Sure.
I knew everyone was going to want to hear it. So what did you say before that recording started?
What I said is with the discovery form, my like father, and as anyone when we start in internet marketing, we don't get a lot of support. And it can be very difficult for us. I mean, when you tell people, I'm going to make money online, people look at you strange. And the first thought that comes in their mind is you need to go out and get a job.
Yeah.
And, and that can hurt coming from people that you love and that you respect. And I really love and respect my father. He's very, very successful. I mean, I'm not talking about just he's worth a tremendous amount of money.
Oh, yeah. So,
it's very hurtful when you're first starting and doing this and you haven't had a job in a while and, the questions come, how's it going?
Yeah.
And you say, well, I'm still learning.
Yeah, it's like asking a plant that's just starting to grow, like how are the roots coming?
Right. It's the first 30 days. So, then, the second 30 days go by. So how's it going? Well, nothing yet. It's like, God, well, why don't you just get a job? And you're just sitting there and there's someone you love and respect and then you start questioning yourself, and it hits home because I don't let anyone affect me. Besides a few people. I mean, there's only about 4 or 5 people that can give me advice, and it really kind of hits home. And my dad's one of them. So, it hit home, and I was like, God, I've got to turn this around. I know I can do this. I know I can do this. So, when that 3rd month came around, and I was so proud that that I got my first deal, it was brought to my attention that, well, weren't you just charged $500 for the first 3 months and you just made 1,000? So you've really just lost $500. He goes, so if you want to be happy about that, then I guess I can be happy with you.
Oh, man.
You know, and it's.
So we know where the convincing comes from from the cotton cotton family tree.
I mean it's pretty harsh, and you know, but it's reality what it is. And you know, if I would have listened to that and stopped when other people would have, I wouldn't have had the next month. You know, which turned into 14.
Oh yeah.
That 1,000. So one of the things is I was so excited that before I'd ever met you or before we'd ever even exchanged emails with this discovery form,
yeah, because the first recording we did, you already had it. And you were so excited about it, and you explained it. And it really helped a lot of people. It helped me. By the way, I'll tell you this right now. It changed the way I did national SEO completely.
Yeah.
It's a total game changer.
I had to think of a way that was really going to take away, you know, that illusion of power that a buyer has, which is, I keep saying,
and it's detrimental to the buyer. By the way, it's not like you're taking something that's good for them away. Mm-hmm. It's literally like making them unhappy. Like if I had to go to the Bentley dealership to buy a Bentley, or you know, it was the first time I'm ever buying a car, and I'm calling all the shots. I mean, think about like a young child. Like a young child wants boundaries badly. Sure. Like they may think that they don't, but the second they don't have boundaries, like you know, they literally get unhappy.
Exactly. So I was so excited that I created this because in my mind, I future paced and seen what it could do and how I felt in my heart at that time that it could revolutionize everything about client SEO. And I shared it with my dad, and he virtually told me it was the silliest thing he'd ever heard of. He goes, "You have no business. You have no money. And you're going to have people apply to work for you. and you're going to turn them down." Mm-hmm. He goes, "That is the craziest thing I've ever heard."
Yeah.
And I just kind of looked at him, and this is one time that I stood my ground and I said, "I'm going to prove you wrong.
Yeah.
I'm so certain about this. I'm just so certain about it." And from the surface,
one of the things I've learned is don't bet against cotton.
From the surface, it does sound crazy.
Yeah.
You know, you have a guy that you know that's my age, that's unemployed, and he's 2 months done nothing but hide himself in a room. Hasn't went out with his friends, really doesn't want to get around his family, and I really don't want to go around anyone because I'm embarrassed still. You know, I'm not doing anything yet. And, you know.
Also, by the way, I kind of want to point this out. This is before Cotton Grammar was in OMG. This is going to sound kind of weird for me to say, but Cotton really literally changed the face of OMG, in my opinion. I think you raised the confidence level. I think you raised, you know, the community, and other people have as well. So I'm certainly in saying this. Mm-hmm. I'm purely celebrating Cotton. OMG is a city on a hill, like so many people coming together.
Right.
But Cotton, I really feel like you added. You know, Daryl Ferguson. What was this quote from Daryl? Daryl, who's awesome, had this quote in Facebook.
He said something like that if I told him that a rooster chewed snuff, that he would look under the rooster's wing for a can of Skull or something. I have no idea. It's pretty crazy.
But what Daryl said, and Daryl's literally extremely successful himself right now. Yeah. When Daryl joined OMG, you were just like a shining light for him because he reached out to you, you talked to him, you know, even in deciding and getting involved and so forth. So my point is that Cotton, you had to go through OMG at a time when it's not the way it is now. I mean, it's great. It was great back then, of course.
Right.
Lots of people having lots of success.
Right.
But I mean, I even think that you had to go through at a time, because I even think, you know, this is one of the great things about paying it forward is you get to benefit from it. You get to, like, suddenly, you know, when Gregor Ortiz is cheering you on, he's a guy who's also literally very successful. Mm-hmm. When you're talking to Kurt Angus, you've helped Kurt be more successful, but then that gets reflected back to you.
Right.
And so there is a much more successful culture at OMG. So at the time, there were a lot of people making 5, 10, 15, even 20 grand a month, and a handful making even more than that. But really, you know, just the way that OMG has matured and the way that you've helped it mature, it's literally become easier, and it's become more of a family, whereas you might have felt like a little bit lonelier back in those days.
Well, true, but one of the main things I want to get a very strong point across is I didn't do this in intention that it ever got out the way it did.
Yeah.
This was to help me I had to find a way not to keep losing clients.
Oh yeah.
I never knew that I would be involved in OMG to the level that I'm at. I never knew. You could have not have told me.
Oh, I was telling Becker the story, like
Yeah.
like when he pulled me outside.
Yeah.
I was telling him the crazy story. I was on a webinar with Scott Schaff, and it was a great webinar with Scott
Right.
Schaff and Jason Boyd,
Yeah.
and we were like role playing client getting and
Right.
stuff like that. And I had just gotten the first earnings report from you a few days before that,
Mhm.
maybe a week or two before that, and I saw you in the audience. And I don't know, there was something in the way that you sent the first earnings report in. It was a little personal between the two of us, so I don't want to
Right.
get into it, but it inspired me. And so I really just felt excited to bring you live.
Yeah.
And we brought you live, and you were like, you know what? I love what these guys said, and I do things a totally different way.
Right.
I'll never forget that. And I was all ears.
No
I was
offense
like,
to those.
"Dunk."
I love what those guys said, but
They were great.
I was like literally screaming in my chair.
That's great.
I was
Because
just
you're
like,
passionate about
yeah,
it.
I was like, oh my God, say this, say that, do this. Oh my God, I would have never been into business. I mean, there's always different ways, and that's why I love having guests on my webinars I'm doing right now.
Yeah.
I want to give people as many different sides to the coin that they can see.
Well, because especially with conversion,
Sure.
and even with SEO sometimes, but with conversion, there's so many different ways of doing it.
Comfortability to yourself is what's going to help you convert.
Yeah.
So finding your
Although
own
I
style.
think everyone in client SEO should use the discovery form.
Yes.
It is the pillar.
That is not a attitude. This is kind of like a scientific fact that this works. But,
Yeah.
But the
it's
style,
like a restaurant having a menu. It's not
Right.
like you don't want to have
Sure.
a menu. It's
Sure.
proven.
But how you speak to clients and how you deal with clients needs to be at your comfort level, and that comfort's going to give you confidence, and that's what you ultimately want.
Right.
So my way might not be the best. That's why I love how Armando does it, and I love how Scott Schaff does it, and all these other guys. I just happen to have my own sense of style, and if it doesn't fit you, then find someone that does. And
Yeah.
when you get comfortable, that's when your confidence shines, and that's when the deals really start to roll in, because business owners, they're smart people. They've went out, and they're a different breed than everyone else. They took a chance and they went out to start their own business. They are at a different level than the average guy. So when you're sitting across from them as a business owner, and if they can smell any sense of insecurity, you're done. They want to feel confidence. It's almost like when you walk into that doctor and he's told you that you have cancer, and he goes, "I'm the best there is in the world. We're going to take care of you. Don't worry about it."
I felt like he was going to take care of me.
You feel better.
Yeah.
But if you go into a rookie, or a guy goes, "I've never seen anything like this before. I'm going to do my best. We'll just, give it the old Hail Mary. See what happens." I mean, you're going to be freaked out. I mean,
We'll give it the whole Hail Mary. So take me back to when you first invented the discovery form. What was the feeling like, and where did it come from? Maybe just to give people a little bit more of a foundational framework for the idea behind it.
What it basically come down to is that I had been doing a lot of studying and funnel building and just other stuff. And what this is basically, in a nutshell, is it's a mini funnel. It's a mini funnel, which is what it is. So it's basically your way of taking one lead that you've got and putting it through your particular sales funnel, so you can get all the information you need to better serve them. That's it in a nutshell. So that was the main thought process behind it. So that's why it kind of looks like a funnel, because it's a little baby funnel.
Yeah. Yeah, but it provides like that rock and that foundation. So
Yeah.
So how did you start using it? Because you do both inbound marketing
Right.
and outbound marketing.
What I started to do is realize that I had to set very strong rules for my business, which is I just refused to work with anyone that refused to fill it out. And there are people that resist, and I'm like, I'm sorry, it's just a standard policy of our company that if you won't allow us to serve you the best way we can, then I can't work for you the best that I can, so therefore we're not a good fit.
Yeah.
So I say it in a very professional way, but if they're not willing to take 5 minutes out to help you better serve them,
Yeah.
and you're talking about spending thousands of dollars, they're not the right client for you. And all it really is a form for me to better serve them. Give me all the information that I need, that they're looking for. Tell them about their business. Where do they get their companies, their customers from? Tell us about your competitor, your sales cycle. Just what's your short and long-term goals, what like products do you want to sell more of. We want to hit some pain points, some pleasure points, some visions, some future pacing. We want to get all of this information because what we want to do is we want to present that to them and give it to them.
These are all fields that have to be filled out.
Yes, yes.
What's the software again?
This is done under Gravity Forms.
Okay, great.
Mm-hmm.